What's up, everyone? Brian Phobos here, and today is Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas to everybody. These are going to be my top 7 penny crypto picks for Christmas and into 2018. So let's get right into it. First one on the list, Cardano, actually in the top 10. I think it's going to be there for a while, trading at 38 cents. Basically, Cardano is going to be a competitor to Ethereum, and on the development team, there are people that worked on the BitShares project and on the Ethereum project. So gathering from that knowledge base, I think that Cardano can do some great things. The testnet is out, so we will see that up here, I think, for a while. Moving on, the second one, Stellar Lumens, 20 cents. So if we look at Stellar, and from a chart perspective, we can kind of see that comparative to Bitcoin, I'm looking at the orange right here, comparative to Bitcoin, it's been higher there, it's been higher here, and it is, still going, and they have signed some major things. But we're seeing this with a lot of these cryptos that were older, that were made back in 2014 and had a lot of success earlier, that they peaked here mid 2017, had a cool off period, and now they're coming up again comparative to Bitcoin. Now, why is that? I think it's fundamentally because a lot of people wanted to be in Bitcoin for all this quote unquote free money with the different forks, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamonds, Bitcoin Segwit 69X, Bitcoin Aliens, whatever. There's so many forks you can't even keep track of, but there is Super Bitcoin and Bitcoin X that is all popped up on Binance. So keep an eye out for the forks. Make sure they're legit before you put any private keys into those. But I think that fundamentally people wanted to be in Bitcoin for all the forks. And people during this time frame were able to take some profits, and they felt pretty exhausted mentally from the situation, took some profits, and that's why I did the cool off period. Now we're going back up. So let's check out a couple other things with Stellar. It is a working platform. There are development kits in several different languages for it. So it isn't like they're just talking about doing something. It is a working system. It has fast transactions. IBM partnered with them. They're running nodes all over the world. I see things for the future for Stellar. The Kick app, they did their ICO on Ethereum, but basically they're going to move those tokens essentially over to Stellar. They're going to develop on the Stellar platform because Ethereum cannot handle the volume of transactions that they're going to be doing on the Kick app. So Stellar was the chosen platform that they went with. So obviously there's reasons behind that. Third on the list is BitShares. If you don't know what BitShares is, it is a decentralized exchange, and it has super fast transactions. BitShares network can do up to 100,000 transactions per second. If you've ever sent BitShares around or Steam, it's fast. So super cool. I actually doubled down on this. Stan Larimer, who's considered kind of the godfather of BitShares. He's the father of Dan Larimer, who was one of the major developers on the BitShares platform. And then he also developed Steam. And then now he's working on EOS. So Stan Larimer, the dad, is still involved a lot with the BitShares community as well as the Steam community. And he was just on YouTube talking with another individual in the BitShares community. And they're saying that some big things are coming down the pipeline here at the beginning of 2018, new partnerships, which are going to require those companies who are developing on it to potentially buy large quantities of BitShares. There's a lot of search traffic coming from China. I recently reviewed BitShares in a video and why it was going up. So I see good things in the future. But basically, BitShares is making this very, very similar pattern where it went way up, and then it had this cooling off phase, and now it's just, and I'm looking at the orange guys compared to Bitcoin, it is just starting this move, in my opinion. So even if you look at kind of an all-time chart here, this is kind of getting bogged down here. I'm trying to do too many things on this machine at once. But if we look at an all-time chart, we can see that BitShares was higher over here. It's been higher over here than it is right here comparative to Bitcoin. So I doubled down on my position in that. Fourth in the stocking stuffer, guys, for 2018 is actually Sia coin. And once this pops up, you'll see the very same pattern Went up mid 2017, cool off period. We have this kind of this cup, or some people call this a chalice. And we are just getting started compared to Bitcoin. And again, I think it was a fundamental reason people wanted to be in Bitcoin, to get all the free money and all these forks. So it clearly wasn't because Bitcoin performs well as digital currency, because it's pretty much worthless for that, which is crazy. It doesn't even work as well as it did in 2013. So we see that with Saya. Actually, a friend recommended Saya to me. But by the time we were really talking about it, it already made this parabolic move. I really couldn't find an entry point. And initially I was thinking, you know what? I think that something like that will just end up being an application on some platform like EOS. But even though the test net's out on EOS and all that stuff like that, that's a ways away. Siacoin has a working platform, and you know, basically what it is decentralized cloud storage. So if you want to rent out your hard drive, you can earn Siacoin. If you want to buy cloud storage in capacity and maybe pay less than you would at Amazon, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure, you could buy it. And here's, you know, some kind of comparisons on that. But check it out. It seems to be a pretty cool project. It is a working platform, which goes a long way with me. Number 5, this is fundamentally probably the weakest coin that I would ever recommend, but if you don't smile, you're dead. You are dead if you don't smile at the doggy coin. I always call it doggy coin, and until I ran into somebody who was also in the crypto space, he's like, it's Dogecoin. I'm like, no, it's doggy coin. There's a dog on that coin. But every dog has its day, but doggy coin or Dogecoin, it's had several days of its own. And again, we see this mid 2017. It mooned. We were saying, wow. It cooled off, and it's just getting started again. So I mined this back in 2014, but never really like retained a bunch and hodled it or anything. It was just more for profits, get the GPUs paid off, that kind of stuff. And but just yesterday, I actually bought 50,000 Dogecoin. And if you don't really know the history of Dogecoin, they did some amazing things as a community, super hilarious memes and stuff like that. But basically, this was real. This was the Jamaican bobsled team in 2014, and they raised a ton of money to send the Jamaican bobsled team to the Olympics. Super cool. And then they just kept leaving me saying, wow. And they basically sponsored this NASCAR driver at Talladega, and you can see the whole thing, the title sponsor was Dogecoin. Amazing community effort. They are still going strong over on Reddit, all kinds of little memes and hilarious stuff. And I saw this wallpaper. This was 19 hours ago. I clicked on that. Boom. Look at that. Look at that detail. That's freaking awesome. Check this out. Look at the stitches on here. Captain Hodl T Moon. Hodl to the moon. Look at that bone. Detailed. The prawn nebula in the reflection of the visor glass. Freaking big shout out to this guy. Looks Russian. Looks like a Russian name maybe. I'm not really sure, but there's a D for Doge on that rocket right there. Super detailed, super cool. Made me smile. I was like, you know what? I'm buying Doge. So yesterday I bought first kind of significant amount. I had some sitting on Polo after going through like a faucet, basically getting a little bit of Doge, but nothing significant. I bought a little more significant amount, and today we were up over 24 hours. So put another smile on my face, and I think it's got a ways to go. I think we can go further comparative to what some of the other coins are doing and have done that are from this era. And if you look at the all-time chart, it's been a lot higher than this comparative to Bitcoin several times, 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times it's been higher comparative to Bitcoin than it is right now. Again, charts are a historical representation of what happened. It's basically documentation, and it's not necessarily what's going to happen in the future. But usually when it makes, when it does that, you see a similar type pattern. It's like, okay, well, history will probably repeat itself, or people kind of see that same thing. So formulate whatever opinion you guys have on that. And the next one, number 6 on the list is the Digibyte. I recommended this 3 weeks ago. Not necessarily recommended it, but reviewed it. John McAfee tweeted it a couple days ago. Same pattern, mooned mid-2017. A lot of these people who braved this nuclear winter were like, oh, finally I can take some profits. And then now we have this scooping effect here, but comparative to Bitcoin, it is way lower than it was back here. We will see what happens, but fundamentally, the Digibyte, it's got a 15-second block time, but it's basically the fastest of the UTXO blockchains. It kind of mentions that here. And then if you look, so Bitcoin network can do 4 transactions per second. Digibyte can do 280 transactions per second. And, you know, PayPal was only doing like 130 transactions per second. So it's got more capacity than that, but not as much as Visa. They can do 2,000 transactions per second, but Digibyte's plan is to scale to 2,000 transactions per second by 2020. So, cool marketing. They're active on Twitter and all that. I see big things for Digibyte. I'm still holding my position. I actually bought it at like 1.2 cents. And they're also on the Ledger now. So the Ledger Nano S or the Ledger Blue. You can put it on your hardware wallets. Super cool. And they've applied to be on Coinbase. Now, whether Coinbase will add them anytime soon, who knows? But they have applied, and they are do meet the criteria to get on Coinbase. Now, number 7 is Electroneum. If you guys have been watching my videos, I've done a lot of videos on Electroneum. Super interesting, and one of the main reasons is the Electron humans, the cult following. There's me, guys, right there. Electroneum. But to be serious, though, there is a huge cult following out online. If you see any videos on YouTube of people talking positively about Electroneum, you see tons of people going in there like, yeah, Electroneum to the moon. So there's just a huge base. So it was the most successful ICO of all time as far as distribution is concerned. 120 different individuals participated in the ICO to equal up to 40 million, but there were over 300,000 people who wanted to participate in the ICO. And yeah, it's just people were super interested. I got involved after the ICO. You know, I'm still, you know, still mining, still hodling, still over here, positive about the project. And when that $40 million in marketing money takes over, I see big things for it. Now, 4 coins that I did not mention that I know people talk about in the comment section is Ripple, Tron, Verge, Redcoin, and actually NIM as well. NIM was so close to $1, that's why I didn't really recommend it. With Ripple, it's been basically over $1, and it's up here. I do own some Ripple, basically because I think it'll probably get added to Coinbase in 2018, but who knows. And then, so going down the list, Tron, I actually recently did a video about Tron. Some of the Tron holders did not like what I had to say, but I basically had some Tron airdrop to me, and I sold it off. Basically, because when I researched deeper into it, and I had wrote up the, I mean, I would like 5x or something on the airdropped coins. And when I looked and dug deeper to see if they had a test net up or they had any of this stuff implemented, they really had nothing. Basically, their whole white paper is just describing what Steam is, you know, and they're talking about Tron power. So it's like, okay, well, there's Steam power. There's already a working system. They're saying, oh, they're going to create a social network, all this stuff. You know, I hope they do come out with something, but it just seemed to have climbed super far for not actually, for only having an ERC20 token out, not having like an actual production coin, and not having a test net. Everything else either had a production coin or at the very least has a test net. EOS has a test net up. Cardano has a test net up. So with Tron, I just felt like it was overbought. I just felt like it was hype. I think we're going to have a cooling off period. That's why I didn't recommend that. You guys can go look at that other video. Tron holders, they don't like me. They're like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. So that's my assessment. That's just my opinion. And I probably will, if they come out with something, some workable code and come up with something, I'll look into buying them at a later time, but I sold out of my position on that. Verge, why didn't I mention Verge? I do hold Verge right now. I bought it actually right after McAfee tweeted it, and just threw some blogging earnings at it. And literally I'm up, I don't know, like about 7 times on it. So it's really been going strong. I think it actually has a little bit more to push, but if you look at the chart, it's hard to really grasp how high it can go. And when I do sell, I'll probably just sell half of it, you know, for Verge, but, you know, to leave some, just be prudent, you know, and take some of my earnings out and the original investment, all that kind of stuff, and then let the rest ride, and then look to buy into it later if it pulls back. And then Redcoin went parabolic out of nowhere. So this was halfway down the second page of CoinMarketCap, literally probably like 4 days ago. Then it shot up, went up 350% in one day. It was like, whoa. And they do have a pretty solid community behind them and stuff, and was making the same pattern as a lot of these other coins. But it just made such an aggressive move. I was like, okay, well, I don't know how much more rocket fuel this thing has. McAfee tweeted it this morning, so it's pushed it up even more. That's why I haven't really recommended it, because I don't know how much higher it can go, just kind of fundamentally for what it is. Anything that's kind of a tipping coin, I know Doge is like that too, but Doge is kind of earlier in its parabolic move compared to Redcoin. But anything that's a tipping platform, I think is always tough mentally for people, because they feel like, well, I'm giving up money. Whereas over on Steemit, tipping, the friction is taken out of tipping. When you upvote somebody, you don't feel like you're actually giving them money. It's part of your power that's in the system. It's a little bit more hidden. The way the tipping is, it kind of takes the friction out of tipping, so to speak. But Redcoin, if we can finally get this chart up, we can kind of finalize this. But basically, it's pretty far in its parabolic move. Come on. It's just like loading super slow. I'm not trying to do too many things on this computer at this time. Got all these different tabs open. So you see, look at the orange, and it's basically almost equal to where it was mid-2017. Now, could it go higher? Absolutely. It could do anything. It could go higher. It could go freaking down like a knife, and who knows, go all the way down. Who knows? It could do anything, but very aggressive parabolic move, just complete vertical ascent, unbridled vertical ascent. So I think that if someone bought it now and there was a pullback and everything, they would kind of be upside down on their investment, and that's why I'm not recommending it. But a lot of these coins are making these very similar type moves, or at least at the beginning of those parabolic moves, like Digibyte, like BitShares, Siacoin, Dogecoin. They're all making that same pattern. Stellar as well, a little bit further into its pattern with Stellar, but it looks very similar. And here's one of the reasons why I think that maybe once those patterns are detected, that it might shoot up. If you look at the Steem backed dollars, which is only backed by $1 of Steem, it is pegged right here, doing good all along here. And then when Tether got hacked for 30 million, it was like there was a large purchase made, popped it up. Maybe once it sustained that, it's almost like bots started buying this up, because it detected a certain pattern of a long, maybe cool off period is what it thought it was detecting. And then when it popped, bots bought it up. We don't really know what's going on, who the hell's buying it, or what the hell's buying it. But if that kind of situation maybe happened to Redcoin, or maybe that's going to happen to Doge or Digibyte, it could see just an absolute parabolic move on some of those. And that's why I'm recommending those. So once again, just to recap, let's go back to our thing. Number one was Cardano, a competitor to Ethereum for the future here. 2 was Stellar. Sorry about these slow loads, guys. This is ridiculous. Cardano first, competitor to Ethereum. Second, Stellar, doing some great partnerships with IBM, and Kik is developing on it. BitShares, the decentralized exchange. The decentralized exchanges are going to be big in the future, guys, because these different countries trying to lock down crypto, trying to keep us from absolute freedom. So Siacoin is next. Siacoin, decentralized cloud storage, cool concept. Dogecoin, community, all about the community, super cool, super fun. Digibyte, 15-second block times, added to the ledger. Got good potential there with Digibyte. And Electronium to round it out. I see big things for the future. They got a huge marketing budget. We'll really be able to push this thing forward. Got a really strong community there as well. You guys have a great Christmas. Hopefully this was helpful. Ask me any questions you want down in the comment section or over on Steemit. Subscribe, trying to pump up the subscribers. Please like this video and follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, Steemit, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Have a Merry Christmas, guys.